the Master beckons for you. The other 20 don't seem to be like waiting for anything.
Well, Dungeons and Dragons is essentially just a tabletop RPG, and what that is a role-playing game. What you do is you get around with a bunch of people and you play in an imagined world. And that's pretty much it. Tabletop games have been around for millennia, but there's been an increase in the more imaginative side of it in the past century. So a player's role in the game is essentially to provide their own character. They come to the table with an idea of who they are, who they're playing as, essentially. It could be anything from a farmer, or it could be a knight.
My name is Q. I'm an Aarakocra artificer. And Aarakocra is just a bird person. Basically, it's like tan feathers with like orange towards the end, and it has like an orange kind of plumage, like a lot more orange on the head. Cool. And I'm 5'3" and 13, but that's actually pretty old for Aarakocras because they only live to about 30, and they mature by the age of 3.
I am a turtle named Squash. They're basically a giant turtle man.
You're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. I'm a barbarian, so I'll be just, getting in those slow punches.
My name is Roscoe. I am a halfling. I'm like really short, like 3 feet tall. Particularly hairy feet, relatively messy and not well cleaned hair.
The Dungeon Master is just there to maintain the chaos, to provide structure for the world that is being created, to help ground it in reality, to provide the rules of the world, to help with the politics of interplayer issues.
That way you don't have to worry about giving them too much money to start. You can just give them the stuff they need. Also, you will find players will always argue about prices with shopkeepers, and that will take up an hour of your game.
Basically, 50 gold for the rental.
For each?
Okay.
All 3?
Well, yeah, I'll throw down 100, or I can just put down the full.
Or we can make it 100.
Is this a persuasion?
When I say that, I'm gonna kind of like mess with my glasses a little bit, and I'm gonna cast Charm Person.
I mean, I can see the future.
So what you have to do is you have to create a set of rules on how much is it going to hurt if I jump off this cliff? How much damage, how badly would I get hurt by a dragon breathing fire on me?
When it raises its hand, you're expecting it to come back down and smash you. It doesn't do that. It like locks onto both of you, and you hear like a whistling sound as a huge gust of air just blasts out of this armhole. Oh. So we could do some damage.
Ouch.
That would be 62 damage.
Holy hell. Okay.
It was 10d8 damage. So yeah.
Like, that's not something we would be able to quantify in real life, but we would need for the purposes of basing the game in reality to know how much will that hurt? Probably a lot. And so all that's very important, but storytelling has a lot more flexibility. I tend to find a lot of enjoyment out of just storytelling, creating a beautiful world that they get to explore in their own way.
We have limitless possibilities. It could be anything like an old castle ruin, perhaps. Perhaps it could be a pyramid, maybe even an underwater temple of some kind. And I'm actually intrigued by the pyramid idea, and so we'll deal with that.
And that's the best place to start, is just the general aesthetics of the world.
See, the things that are usually associated with pyramids. Obviously, you have the desert. Think about the architecture a lot. Things like the Sphinx. There are oases. They'll provide interesting color for when we actually describe them. It'll be a hard change between describing the rough and arid air of a desert
From one side of your vision to the other side is just pure sand.
to perhaps the sound of water or the smell of trees for the first time.
Huge area of dense, basically jungle.
Well,
Encased in this huge sand pit.
we found the famous tree pit.
And then you can focus on the actual setting. The setting of, okay, is it in a specific town? Is it in maybe a city, a spaceship?
We are in Fulst, which is the capital of this region. This region is a very, very immense desert. There used to be a very large river that flowed through this capital city, but for the past month, the water level of the river has been slowly declining until, as of yesterday, is completely dry.
Basically, you try to create the largest scope available, and you slowly filter it down into meaningful information.
So what do we fundamentally have now? We have the backbone of our game. We now know everything that is remotely relevant to the game. So now once they gather the information from the professor, who we have now determined all of their character traits.
The door sign is slightly open, and you see just this yellow eye poke out. How can I help you?
We were saying here about the guild.
You hear the door shut, and you hear several locks get unlocked, I suppose.
They are going to get the map.
You see the professor kind of grumble as they pull out, or they kind of present this stone that was wrapped in the cloth. And once the cloth is taken off, you see this really, really detailed carving.
That are going to lead them into the desert, where they'll be besieged by sandstorms.
But you see like this dark kind of swirling vortex. You're not quite sure what it is until you look a little bit, until it gets a little bit closer, and you see it's a huge sandstorm approaching your. It's about a mile out.
Cool.
In the sandstorm, they will find a ruin.
So after about 45 minutes of traveling through this horrendous sandstorm, you find a structure.
Once they go inside, they will find a golem who will attack them on sight.
So you see a very, very large creature. Not necessarily a creature so much as a large golem. It is 15 foot tall with a huge yellow gem in its chest. On its sides, you see very large bulking arms that have large holes burrowed in the middle. So like a pillar, but with like a hole in it.
I've seen enough. I'm satisfied.
And once they defeat the golem, they will find that the sandstorm has dissipated.
It comes out to be 49 damage.
Cool. You got it. It crumbles into dust before you. The yellow gem kind of bouncing on the floor, falling at your feet.
I guess we probably go up the stairs, look out the stone door a little bit. Is the sandstorm still going on?
No, it has stopped completely.
That's nice.
All right, cool. So
Good to
guys,
know.
we killed the sandstorm.
No, it's just a coincidence, I think.
Hell yeah.
Almost certainly.
And as they travel through the sandstorm, they are able to find the legendary oasis, where they will find the original endless decanter of water. But inside is a hydra.
You enter this huge expanse that stretches about a mile wide and a mile across. And in the center of this huge expanse is an enormous lake. At the center of the lake is a large stone, we'll call it a pedestal, maybe an island. And on there you see some kind of object. And coming from that object is an unimaginable amount of water, just exploding out of it, creating a huge geyser and funneling back into the lake. You see 3 forms, kind of like slow, huge masses moving under.
Oh boy.
A scaly head come out with a serpent's maw, with huge frills coming off the side. When I say huge, I mean this thing is enormous. It comes straight up, looking directly at you, and then about 30 feet over to the left of it, you see another one come up and look at you, and then about 40 feet that way, you see another one come up. So you have 3 serpents.
But once they are able to defeat the hydra,
And 23 slashing.
All right, yeah, you cut off its head.
Yes, I do so with a rapier.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's fire.
Sunshine.
Okay, you know what? I buy that 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, you cut off its head. And which one is it?
This one.
You see the other ones look at it and kind of like slowly but surely fall to the ground. As you see the body raise up as they are all attached to the same body.
and grab the endless decanter of water, they get back and prove the professor right and save the town from all of its economic woes. And they are paid handsomely and are venerated as heroes amongst the land.
I think when it comes to people experiencing D&D for the first time, I think there's a lot of sort of unintentional gatekeeping that happens. People feel like there's a high bar to get across. There isn't. It doesn't really matter if you don't know the rules or if you don't know what you're supposed to do. That's fine. D&D is just like a medium to experience these things. And the real purpose of Dungeons & Dragons is to be with other people and experiencing the story. And along the way, you'll learn the rules, you'll mess up, and you'll laugh about what you didn't know in the beginning, and you'll have fun. And that's the point.